we obviously need a lot of help in pulling these events to life. We don't do this every weekend like you guys do, so I want to call special attention to the sponsors. Many people had a hand in bringing this event to life, so we want to say a quick thank you.
Yes, Divine Grace provided the venue, catering, and bar. Round of applause for Divine Grace. Kimberly Harrell Photography is going to be capturing the event as well as the headshots after the panel.
Thanks, Kimberly.
DJ KB Events, bringing the music. Grateful Floral Event Design did all the florals. Sweet Boom Bakery did the dessert table and that fabulous cake.
Fan club, I love it.
Cafe Miel, I said it correctly, out there with the coffee bar.
Thank you.
Nuage Designs with these fabulous linens.
Spectacular. Thank you, Nuage.
Stageworks USA for this fabulous stage. And Looking Glass Calligraphy did the beautiful signage out front.
And then I thought, there's no assigned seating, so you guys just come on in, take a seat wherever you find empty chairs. I thought I would share a little bit of an update from WED Society just in terms of the strength of this marketplace in particular, which we're very proud of, and we're very proud of the work that we've done over this last year. Just so you know, WED Society North Texas has published almost 600 weddings over the last year. That's online, that's via social, or that's commemorated in print. So lots and lots of weddings come across our desk, not only from couples, but also this industry that routinely submit, and that's part of the privilege and the exposure that you get. So thank you for submitting, and if it's not part of your routine process, I encourage you to make that part of your process to make sure that your favorite weddings are on our radar and that you're submitting those to us routinely. Our social following has grown tremendously too. We're at 83.3 thousand followers. These are very targeted niche followers, actively engaged couples that are looking for wedding vendors. And the nice thing about WED Society North Texas is everything you see is something you can source locally in the local market. And that's what our feed is filled with, the work that you guys do day in and day out for every single wedding. Also, over this last year, we reached over 3 million, actually 3.1 million first page Google impressions. So our content and the content that we have you all connected to is driving tremendous traction for the brand. Very, very, very excited about that. I think last year it was around 2 million. This year it grew to 3 million. And then the social reach and the social impressions that we're garnering is like right at 20 million. So, and that's in the past 12 months. So lots and lots of great traction. Thank you for allowing us to just promote you and share your wonderful work. It has a lot of it gets a lot of attention, garners a lot of attention, and drives a lot of visibility for your businesses. And then a couple of little reminders. I've already talked about submitting your weddings. The other thing is
November 1st is that deadline. So we're going to
Yes.
introduce the North Texas girls here in a little bit, but find them and get your weddings submitted by November 1st.
Yeah, the next event that we will host for the industry is the actual Book of Weddings release, and that will be in early February, I believe. So November 1st is the deadline to not only photographers in the room to submit your absolute favorite weddings, but also for cover consideration, all of those things. So November 1st is a deadline to keep in mind. Another thing that people tend to forget about is the fact that we can promote any and all events, sales, promotions, those types of things. Maybe you've launched a new website, maybe you've rebranded, anything like that. Make sure that that is communicated to the community manager of WED Society North Texas, who is Kennedy Warwick. We will bring our North Texas team, if they'll start gathering. I'd love for you guys to just come make your way up. I want to introduce you. And update your profile. I feel like the profile that you have for your business online on our website is something that you can it's out of sight, out of mind, and you might forget about. But you do have an awesome gallery on there, and you're connected to every piece of content that we publish is housed on your profile. So take a look at that. Now's a good time, like after every single event, to just do a little profile refresh. So make sure you log in, add new images, and be sure your profile is up to par. So. And if our North Texas team would come up before we introduce our panel, which is the main event today, I want to make sure to put a face with the name of all of our North Texas crew. Yes, come on up, ladies. Come on. These are probably all very familiar faces to you guys. Yes, just come on, stand up here. Lauren Johnson here is our market president. She's going to also be leading the panel today. So any of these girls are someone that you can always reach out to with any particular question that you might have. But I'm going to start here to my right, too, and introduce the team here. This is Nicole Narasov, and she has been with the company for now 5 years. She's an account exec, so she may be a direct liaison for many, many, many people in this room. She knows the brand inside and out, so she's a great point of contact if you have questions about anything. Randy Flowers here. She is our social gal, Randy's fan club. So if you want particular content pushed on social, Randy's your girl. She's collectively, I guess organizing content day in and day out breathes all the social media content. So Kennedy is our community manager. She, yes, manages the submission process for North Texas and so many others. She does all the onboarding calls. She's a great liaison. If you can't get in touch with your account exec, Kennedy is your gal. Megan Jones.
Woo, Megan.
What can I say about Megan? Oh my gosh. Megan has been with the brand since inception here in North Texas. For over 15 years of her life, she has devoted to Wed Society North Texas and this wedding community.
She was our second employee ever.
And our first and second employee are still with us, and we are just so grateful. Megan has a heart of gold, and if you know her, you love her, and you are very lucky if she is your account exec. So Megan, thank you for the countless years and many, many more. We're all aging together, right? So Megan's wonderful. And Hadley is a newer face, and Hadley is expecting a little girl on the way. Hadley is a newer face to our team, but feels like you've been here forever, Hadley. She's also an account executive. So again, all of these gals are here to serve this community and help you with anything that you may need. So just wanted to make sure to call attention to each of you guys. Yes. Thank you. And so the main event today is our panel. So at this time, we're going to bring up our panelists and let Lauren get settled, and hopefully there's a lot of great learning and nuggets of information that you get to take home with you today. We've got a fabulous panel. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, so thank you.
Yeah, if the panel wants to go ahead and come on up. Everybody should have a mic, and they're all live. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Like Ashley said, I'm going to go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. I'll start over here with you guys, Louis and Michelle.
Alrighty, we're Louis and Michelle. We're the Lockharts. Michelle, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm Michelle. I'm the second half of the Lockharts.
And my name's Kelsey. My family and I own the French Farmhouse venue.
Hi, I'm Jen Trotter. I'm the owner of Lip Service Makeup, and I'm also a speaker and an educator within the wedding industry.
Yes, thank you guys. So I will just get right into it, kick it off. Kelsey, I'm going to start with you. If you want to talk about what the value that you see in Google reviews is, how do you get reviews for your business and make the most of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Google reviews are going to be the first thing your clients go and search. They're going to be searching the French Farmhouse venue, and that is going to be the first thing that builds trust for your client. So they're going to be going in, whether they're the bride, the groom, or the bride's parents who it's their first daughter and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They're going in and reading our reviews and seeing, okay, these families trust this venue with their daughter's most important day of their life. So I think from the beginning, before they even come to tour, your review, if you are a venue, I know it's different based on everyone in the space, but from a venue's perspective, they are gaining that trust in us, for example, our family, before they even step foot on property. And then how do you get them? You asked, we've done several things in this. You get them naturally. You're gonna get the uncle who comes out and is a Google critic and is leaving reviews on truck stops. And he's gonna be your person. Yeah. And so you're also going to get brides who naturally take the time to leave a review, which we're so thankful for in the industry. But some things to kind of amp that up that we've done some giveaways. We have some farmhouse merch that I've posted on Instagram story, and I said, hey, if y'all could go on, leave a review with your honest feedback, post some pictures, and at the end of the day, we're going to put all of those into a hat. And we'll select 5 and send y'all some farmhouse merch. We've done that way. We've also done it open houses. We've said, hey, for everyone who comes, and when y'all leave, if y'all leave a review on your experience today, even if you're not a booked bride or even if you're a vendor, we'll put those all into a hat and we'll do a discount off your wedding date as well. But I've had several brides also say that that's how they found their vendors. We had a photographer post their review of the French Farmhouse and several different weddings that they've done there, and they might not be on our preferred vendors list yet, but they found them based on their photos on the review.
I think that's such an important point, that it isn't just like couples or people who attend the weddings, but like if you have like frienders in the community, people that you work with, also requesting reviews from them, making sure to build it up to where it's not just like couples and all of that. And if you do get your Google reviews, make sure you connect with Kennedy and get them set up on your profile. That's something new that we added within the last year. So make sure that all the hard work that you guys are doing to collect those reviews are seen on your profile as well with Wed Society. So thank you, Kelsey.
Absolutely.
Lewis and Michelle, I'll jump over to you guys. Go ahead and get a question from you. What tips do you have for navigating owning a business while also focusing on your marriage and family and personal life?
Yes, so I feel like for us, this question is very personal just because we're a husband and wife photo and video team. So I know in the earlier stages of our business, it was very easy for our business to just become everything, to kind of like take over our marriage and our family. So I personally believe, I think the thing that has worked the best for us is organization. So it's going to be key that you basically organize your life, and I would say in like 3 stages. So first, yearly. So you want to make sure that you're like blocking out things in your calendar that are specifically for your family, for your marriage, so like vacations and things like that. For us, we like to block out at least 2 times during the year, like during the summer and then during the winter, kind of around the holidays, to make sure that, we're focused and that we're present in our family too, because that's really important if you're planning to be here in the long run. And then the other thing is to just kind of organize yourself for a monthly basis. So like we like to kind of look at our calendar and then make sure, again, that we have like our family events and all that stuff in there, as well as our work, and kind of make sure that all of that is there. And then obviously weekly, I'm a big fan of resetting myself on Sundays. And so okay, this is what we have going on. And then also making sure that you actually have office hours. I know that's really hard to do, especially if you work from home. But being very mindful of that and saying, okay, I'm gonna work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then closing down that laptop. I know it's so hard, especially for us, because we could always edit. We could finish this wedding faster, but I think being organized and knowing that if you want to be here for the long run, it's very, very important that you prioritize your whole life around it. I think that's very important.
Yeah, there needs to be a balance, and also do not fear delegating. If you're going to be here for the long run, you need to learn how to delegate to other people. There's some things in your business, of course, you want to do everything yourself, but sometimes we need to look outside and see what things can we outsource that will help us gain that time back, so we can spend time with our family, friends, and also that we can kind of use some time for mindfulness.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think boundaries are so important. If you're not feeling yourself or feeling the best yourself, then you're not performing the best, you're not doing the best work for anybody in your personal life or even your couples as well. So thank you. Jen, my next question's for you. Whether a physical product, service, or personally, what is the most worthwhile investment that you have made in your business?
The most worthwhile investment I've made in my business is networking, by far. There's nothing else that comes close. And I would say I'm so happy to see familiar faces and also a lot of new faces, people I've never met here today. But if I had to give you one, by the way, I'm celebrating 30 years in business next year.
Woo.
Very excited about that. The best piece of advice I can give you for sustainability and longevity is to all the things you're doing to reach your level of success, whatever that is. Like whether you want to do a certain number of weddings, a certain income level, your staff size, whatever that success level is for you, whatever it is you're shooting for, or if you've already reached it. Whatever you did to get there, don't stop doing it. That is literally the secret to my success. I've seen a lot of people come and go in 30 years. I've seen, even as recently as 10 years ago, some of the big name players in DFW are no longer in business. And of course, that's always going to happen for, you move or have a baby or something like that. But really good, talented, wonderful people that, get burnt out or they get to a place of comfortability and they stop building their relationships, or they have all their eggs in one basket. They're kind of sitting back, resting on their laurels, and all of a sudden maybe that piece of business goes away and they're like, oh no, I'm starving here. So whatever you're doing to be hungry and form those relationships and get out to networking events, you've got to keep doing it to have success in the long term. But to me, it's an investment in your time, and it's also an investment in money. So I'm the vice president of the DFW chapter of WIPA, but I'm also involved in 5 other professional organizations. I attend them regularly. I invest in my time. I invest in the money to attend those events and belong to those organizations, because nothing beats a real relationship. And for me, as a hair and makeup team, what we do, we're gone and done before we see most of you. If we, and for some of you like linens and stage people, we would never see you if it weren't for me attending these events. But it's really important to get face to face and actually meet people and smile at them and get to know them. And I feel like that has been the secret to my success, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yes, thank you, and congratulations on almost 30 years. That's an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you. Very excited.
Yes, thank you. Kelsey, I'll kick it back over to you. What are some of your favorite system softwares or automations that you use, like HoneyBook, Hats, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use Planning Pod. Has anyone heard of Planning Pod? So it is more geared towards the venue or hospitality vendors in here as well. And I think with the wedding industry and any industry, it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to software. There are going to be things you love about it. There's going to be things you don't like about it. And that's kind of how I feel about with Planning Pod. But the wedding industry in general is such an emotional industry. They're making every decision with their heart and with their soon-to-be husband, and some of the first decisions that they've made together. So I don't think it can be, I don't know other word to use than robotic. And so what we use Planning Pod, where we'll gather their contact, and it is our CRM. And then we also have our contracts, our invoices, and our final planning questionnaire in Planning Pod. But once we get that first initial inquiry, I pretty much take it from there over to email, because brides are gonna want that one-on-one relationship and make it more personal. So from there, it's less robotic, and I'm asking them, hey, when did you get engaged? How did you get engaged? And making it, I want them to think, we're going to visit Kelsey at the French Farmhouse venue today. And just make it that one-on-one personal relationship from there moving forward, that I think is not in many industries. And that's very much geared more towards the wedding industry in general. From there, we also use MailChimp. That is going to be our mass mailing system. And we send monthly newsletters. We tell them what's going on at the French Farmhouse, what the family's up to, if we have any improvements we're doing, and different blogs and what vendors are frequently the venue that month as well. And then we use Prism. It used to be called All Seated, and that's where we do all of our floor plans. I know we all probably use something different, and it's going to be different for every vendor on what's the best fit for you. And I don't think any of them are perfect for that. But yeah.
Yes, thank you. Louis and Michelle, another question for you guys. Do reels matter? Do you guys make them?
So I personally, I guess we're photo and video, I really think that there is such a great value in Reels. And I would say in that realm, TikToks as well. I just think it's just another way to market yourself. Now, is it going to be kind of back to what Jen said, putting all your eggs in one basket? Is that going to be like the only thing you should do? I don't think so. I think, there's multiple things to networking. You need to also, to marketing yourself, you also need to network. You need to, post photos. You need to do other things. But I feel like Reels is definitely a great way to market yourself. And how do you make them? Well, for us personally, we take the content that we already make. So we produce videos, we produce photos. So we just show that as well. I know other people have had great success with literally just talking to their audience. So, there's so many ways you can go about this. I would say look at who your client is, what do they need, and showcase that. It doesn't have to be that hard. Should it take that much time? For us, I feel like in 20 minutes, I can have something kind of just put together and thrown in there. I kind of gauge at, okay, this is what my clients are liking. Let's showcase a little bit of this wedding, a little, 15 seconds of this wedding, and then there you go. I've done Reels, and I'm able to reach a lot more people. I don't know how many clients I've had. Oh my God, I saw that Reel you posted about that thing in Italy, and then that's just a connection point. They connect to me, and that's very important, I think, in the wedding industry. Yeah.
Yeah, and you may think, oh, well, I'm not a photographer or videographer. How do I do that? So in our space, you can always ask. Don't be afraid to ask the photographer or the videographer to, share some content with you. We have our own content creation team, and what we do is at the end of each wedding, we upload a whole folder of phone content and some professional content that our partners for that wedding can use to create their own reels. So don't be afraid to ask, because there's always a way.
Yes.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're doing Reels, do the collaboration tool. That is the best thing ever. I love when my photo and video people tag me as a collaborator. I can't always, it depends on what I'm doing with my content. If I've already posted several things about that event, I might not accept and maybe use that content later. But if we just had this gorgeous event and you guys were to do a big photo, big reel, and then you tag me as a collaborator, all I have to do is hit accept, and there it is on my feed. It's the best thing ever. It's the best. It's accept. And then your reel gets more views too, so.
Gets more traction, and it's as easy as a accept, and you just get that extra
It's
content.
my new favorite tool.
Working smarter, not harder.
I would also say not to overthink it. Some of our most viral reels have been, I made at a stoplight, and I'm like, whoa. And so that's I think we just overthink, and then you get so critical that it's not interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree to this. We had a reel that went viral and got 14 million views, and it was literally in our drafts for months. Yeah. So I was like, oh, let me just post this because I have nothing to post. So really just don't overthink it. Share what you have, share what you're doing, and that's just another tool.
Post your drafts. Thank you so much. Jen, kicking it back over to you. How do you handle difficult clients or challenging situations during weddings, and what strategies do you use to maintain your professionalism?
Well, let me tell you. Some of you may not realize this is actually what I specialize in. This is what I teach. I have a background in conflict resolution, so this is what I teach. I travel around the country and I teach other business owners how to reduce conflict and chaos in their business. Comes in very handy, being a wedding pro myself. But I used to I was the director of the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Fort Worth, and I got to use a lot of my conflict resolution skills there too. When you're working in a situation where emotion is really high, conflict resolution skills, and when you think of conflict resolution, I don't mean a fight. I'm not talking Real Housewives flipping tables. That's not what we mean. But it can just mean that your client wants something that you don't want to do, or something that is pushing a boundary on your business, or they're a little bit frustrated and you're not sure how to handle that frustration. That's the more common stuff. Yeah, it could be something really big, but I think it's more beneficial to really lean in on the skills of the little things, because those are the things that happen daily. I think the most important thing is to always take the position of, don't ever forget, people do not know how this works. It's very important to always reset and think, they just don't know. So when someone's asking you this dumb question that you've had 47 other people ask you, and you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe they're asking me this, you have to sit back and go, okay, she's never gotten married before. She doesn't know. She doesn't know that this is not a good idea. So when you take that approach, you're going to be so much softer and so much kinder. And instead of being defensive, you're going to be like, okay, let me walk you through how this works, and I'm going to explain it to you, and this is how we found really good success for this process. I feel like doing that is a real basic with almost everything. I think another thing that is super important, and those of you who are under 30, listen to me. You have to pick up the phone, and I'm so sorry, but you have to pick up the phone. The rule of thumb is when someone is frustrated, you have to pick up the phone, because the tone of your voice is one of the most powerful things you have. One of the most powerful things you have. Don't cut yourself off from that most powerful tool. So if the type of thing that I would normally experience is maybe I missed a phone call, or someone emailed me and I haven't emailed them back, and they're like, hey, I really need to schedule my trial. They're not mad, they're just a little sparked up a little bit. I'm gonna pick up the phone and be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I sent you a calendar invite, we've got your trial scheduled, what can I do for, they're gonna be like, oh, she cares about, it's just gonna take that little bit of frustration and bring it all the way down to the ground. If they're worried about their flower order, they're worried about something, and you're like, hey, I'm running to the grocery store, but I wanted to let you know I got your message, I'm gonna take care of this as soon as I get back to the office. That buys you time, that makes people think like, okay, they care about me. Just constantly doing everything through text or email can sound defensive, it can sound harsh, it can sound like you don't care, unless you are an excellent, excellent communicator, and even then, it could still be misconstrued. Even just saying, hey, this is how this works, they might hear it in their voice, hey, this is how that works. Like, your tone of voice is very powerful, and so don't cut yourself off from that. It's the easiest way to fix something really quick. It's the easiest way to fix something really quick. So I would say those are two really basic things. Always take the educational, like I'm here to guide, I'm here to educate you. These are the things that you want, and I'm here as a business owner, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna lead you through this and guide you through this, and we got this. Taking that approach as opposed to, they want something, I don't wanna do that. That's combative. You never wanna be combative. Taking that approach and then picking up the phone and squashing any kind of irritation or sparking up or frustration, squashing it really quickly are my two biggest and easiest tips.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I believe that it is always going to be a learning experience, and maybe not all battles are meant to be fought. Sometimes you need to kind of like realize that the client chose you to solve a problem, and you're there to help them out. Now, what happens after you kind of like help them through the situation? You learn and you try to identify those situations before they happen again. But, fighting with your boss is not always gonna go right, because at the end of the day, your client is paying you, okay? So they're at the top. And then a lot of times clients may not leave a good review because they're super happy, but they are gonna leave a bad review if they're not. So, they're gonna take that time, and they're gonna find that time to leave that review. So that's why not all battles are meant to be fought. Sometimes you gotta learn, move on, and try to create devices that identify those problems before they even happen, and then you can say, oh, we might not be a good fit.
Can I add one more thing? Something you said, Louis, made me think about this. People care more about how you make them feel than anything else. They don't care so much about perfection. Like when I'm speaking, I'm not a perfect speaker. I've never done a TED Talk. I I don't worry about I don't care if I stumble over a word or something. It doesn't matter because I know my heart and soul is in what I'm saying, and I've got great stuff to share, and it's really coming from a good place. That's what matters. When you're dealing with your clients, it's the same thing. Think about if you go to a restaurant and you have a really great server who's like, hey, how are you? And they're very kind and they're hustling and you can see them. Maybe everything isn't perfect. Maybe, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that tea. Let me go get it. Like, if there could be a little snag or two, you're not going to be upset. You're going to be fine with it. But if you see them over in the corner texting, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? Like, if they're like, hey, what can I get for you? Like, how you're making them feel will definitely overcome the natural little snags that you're going to encounter from time to time, because we can't be perfect. You're going to miss a phone call. You're going to miss an email. You're going to have little snags from time to time. But if you're always letting clients know how much you care about them and how invested you are, they're going to have a little bit of grace and patience for you.
And I also think that's where all your team of vendors comes into play, where you work together. And like Jen said, so much of it is educational. So if a bride's like, I cannot believe the hair and makeup team is doing this, that's where the planner steps in and was like, hey, this is totally normal. They have normal business hours, XYZ, and that's where that planner can come in, or that venue comes in and educates them more on this is normal, that you aren't their, in a nice way, their only bride they have this year. But they do want to feel like they are your only client for the whole year. And so if you can make them feel like that, you've captured them.
100%.
Yes, well, thank you all for chiming in. I think that's a really important topic, and I think we have a little bit more time left. So we actually did get some questions when we sent out our invitation from our attendees here today. So just throwing them at you. I know you guys weren't hugely prepared for this. So if anybody has any opinions, or if everybody wants to chime in on any of these, feel free, or we can just move on. But how is everyone seeing the trends of the brides that are either touring your venue or booking you currently? Are you guys doing anything different with any of these trends you're seeing?
How are we seeing brides,
Yes.
trends, touring them, and how are we booking them?
Are there any trends in how people are maybe spending or booking or touring
Last
or
minute.
preferencing? Last minute?
I've never seen so many last minute brides. It took me a second to think about what you were saying. I have never seen so many last minute brides. We are still filling up fall, and that's very odd. Normally fall would be completely locked in, but I'm squishing people in everywhere I can. People are booking very last minute, which it's just strange, because for many, many years people booked, we still have people booking a year in advance or whatever. Those people are still doing that as well. But I've just never seen so many people get down to the wire and make a decision. That's something I've seen since COVID. Things have really kind of been a little hinky since COVID.
Yeah, just yesterday we had someone for November come out, and I was like, 2024? Like this November? But trends-wise, I'm seeing more experiences. Brides want their guests to show up and just a full-blown experience from start to finish. Nothing normal. They want them leaving thinking, wow, I've never seen that done before. And stuff that they can put their hands on. So whether it's a seating chart, whether it's handwritten letters, everything's going more personal, which is great. I'm seeing fewer bridesmaids and groomsmen. I'm seeing more mismatching bridesmaids' dresses. This is along the trends topic, but just more experiences. We very rarely just have your typical ceremony, cocktail hour, reception, they're leaving. It's like this wow moment needs to happen at every single stage. And I think that's truly because we're walking around with handheld magazines on our phones that are listening, that are know your algorithm. If you're a bride, your whole For You page is gonna be bridesmaids' dresses. It's gonna be color palettes. It's gonna be hair and makeup. And I think that they're just constantly feeling the need to add to cart, add more stuff to wedding day, more stuff at cocktail hour. And I think that is a big pressure in today's society, is just keeping up with the trends.
And I would like to add to that, at least for us for photo and video, we have had a lot more requests for kind of like weekend events. So it's not just Saturday anymore. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so like we've had to almost like kind of restructure our collections to make sure that they are, okay, this is what that will look like. And it kind of goes on to, it's more of like an experience. They want it to be an experience for their guests. They don't want it just to be like a one-day thing where it's like, ceremony, reception, and kind of like the norm that we've been seeing for so many years.
Yeah, they for us at least, I believe that they're definitely spending more, but they want more of a personal touch throughout the weekend. And I feel that for some reason they want everything. They want content creation, then they want Super 8, they want a lot more because they want that to be so unique that they just don't want to miss anything. And going back to what was happening when it comes to bookings, I feel like when COVID happened, there was a kind of like a clog in the pipeline of weddings. Then we had so much more weddings than vendors available. But now, 4 years later, that clog has gone away. So a lot of people are now more like, let me just think what I want. Let me wait until last minute. Because before, you could kind of reach out to a vendor and they were already booked. And they were booked in advance so much, and they had to do a lot of rescheduling. So I feel like right now, that's what's happening. But I also foresee that brides are willing to spend more money than before.
I went to a wedding conference, and someone from another part of the country was talking about how weddings are getting smaller, and I was like, not where I live. And we have bride plus 15, bride plus 16 all the time, and I'm really happy for that. But beauty for hair and makeup, it's been going on for a while, and it's still happening, which is anything goes, and I'm here for it. Many years ago, everybody wanted the exact same thing. All the bridesmaids' dresses were the same. The weddings were almost all the same, roughly. I mean, maybe more fancy or less fancy, but there just wasn't a lot of variation to anything. And thank millennials. Millennials, way to go, because they brought in so much personality and so much individuality, and that is still continuing. And I love that. I mean, we could have a bride getting married wearing some kind of really fringed boho, looks like she's getting married in Santa Fe kind of situation. And then maybe the next day we're at the Adolphus with a very luxe reception, and she has a very sleek updo and a ball gown, and everything in between. And I'm here for it. It's hard to say that there's like one particular trend because we're seeing a little bit of everything. And I love it.
Yes, thank you all. I think we have time for maybe one question. And Kelsey, I might have you kick this one off. For people that have preferred vendor lists, which I think is typically sometimes venues, what is the best way for other businesses to build that relationship and get on a preferred vendor list if they haven't met you guys yet?
Yeah. So vendors list is hard because as a venue, our basic standard is you need to come and 5 times give me your best experience that you have to offer. I want to be pulling away from the venue and hit the steering wheel like, man, they were good. Whether you're a caterer, whether you're a photographer, my biggest thing is you're with a smile all day. And that doesn't show me how great you are at your business, but that shows me that you love to be there. We're not your typical Monday through Friday showing up to a corporate job. You're showing up to someone's wedding day. But the biggest word that comes to my head when I think of vendors list is consistency. I want to know when I'm not at the venue that vendor is going to show up and consistently, time after time, do a great job. As a family-owned business, we're ride or die for our preferred vendors list, and I see so many of them in this room. And we have to trust you. My hardest call I ever get is a mom that calls me and says, hey, we trusted you to book this person, and they did not live up to our expectations, and I have to take that heat just as much as the owner of that company does because I recommended them. So it's 100% the hardest thing, but also I get an email every single week that's, hey, my name is so-and-so, nice to meet you. How can I be on your preferred vendors list? And it takes our trust. I have to trust you, And just back to consistency, that you're consistently gonna do a great job. And the wedding industry is weird. Even if you have the hardest week of your life, you have that bride's wedding on Saturday that you have to show up for and give it your all. And that's where I think this industry just differs so much from other industries.
I'll add to that from a vendor's perspective who's on a lot of vendor lists. Like Kelsey said, that is not the way. Like, don't hit up random vendors and be like, can I be on your, that's not the way to get on a list. If you want to get on someone's list, you need to come to networking, find them, meet them, smile at them, say hello. Something I've done for years and years and years is I offer to help. I'm like, I'd love to come out and check out your new venue. Do you want me to check out your bridal suite and see if you need any help with anything, with how it's set up? Do you need a styled shoot? I'd be happy to do hair and makeup for that. Like, I'm gonna offer my help. I'm gonna talk to them about the organizations I belong to. Or have you attended? Do you need to meet some people? I'd be happy to introduce you around. It's a collaboration, and I think that, I know for me as a veteran vendor, I like it when people need something from me when they're collaborating, when I don't feel like they're just trying to take from me. They're not just trying to take my connections and harvest from me. If you want to collaborate and we want to help each other, that's when the magic happens. Like, when we're at a venue with people we love and we're working with photographers we love and it's hugs all the way around and we're all happy to be there for our bride, that's when it's magical and wonderful. When it's one way where you're just taking from, like, I just want what you have, but I'm not offering you anything in return, it doesn't work as well and people don't receive it the same way.
Which, just to add to that, I would say definitely add value. And that goes for all of your networking, planners, venues, all of it. Like, add value. We're a team in this. So if you're going to that venue and you're going to work at that venue, you're going to give it, the best that you got. You're going to go ahead, at least for us, like, since we do photo and video, give them the photos, here, so you can use them for your company, provide them some type of value that they're like, wow, I really like, having them in my space because they provide value to my business as well. And again, it's not just take. You also have to give a lot in order to, receive.
And there's like so many vendors around the DFW, for example, that would like to be on X or Y or Z list, but what are you doing to go above and beyond? Because what planners, what hair and makeup, what venues need is people that are going above and beyond. How can you help them? How can you relieve some stress from them during the wedding day? Because anybody can go and do a wedding, but what are you gonna do those days to make sure that the owners of the venues can trust you to be there week in and week out? Because there's some people that just go, oh, I do photography, let me just take photos. But they're not taking care of the venue. They don't really care about what happens. People are, doing X, Y, and Z. And people, the owners of the venue, the planners, they want people that are there to help, that are there to take care of things.
And sorry, I'm a talker. One thing that comes to my mind too, the biggest complaint that I have across the board from all vendors is gonna be communication. And I'll be honest, when I get a complaint from a vendor, I take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, if it's a true complaint, they're kind of nixed in my head. Just because that's my name riding on that too, and they're exact representation of the French Farmhouse venue. But communication is key from the second that bride inquires to executing wedding day and packing up at the end of the night at midnight. It's how well that whole transition is as well.
This kind of springboards off the consistency, but I was going to say too that a quick story. When I worked at Make-A-Wish, we had a receptionist who was like, oh, I really want to work here. I really want to work here. She interviewed well, but I found out from my friends and family who would occasionally call the office that she was answering the phone like, Make-A-Wish, how can I help you? No, you can't work here. You can't work here. There's a lot of, I don't care if my accountant is in it to win it and has a heart for accounting. Like, I don't care, man. Just do my taxes. It's fine. There's a lot of things you can do for a living that don't require an emotional element. This does. This requires an emotional element. and particularly the front-facing people. You know, if you're really front-facing, which most people do to some degree. It may just be those initial consultations and things like that. Basically, I'm sitting on top of you all day. Like, I'm right in your face all day. It's very front-facing. There's no way I could fake it through those interactions. There's no way, if I didn't truly love people and love what I do, I could not fake those experiences. And I think we would all agree with that. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes, this is how I helped put my kids through college and pay my mortgage and has made me successful, for sure. And I'm not doing it for free. You have to have that heart and soul. And I know when I look around at all the vendors that I really appreciate working with, the heart and soul is something that I'm definitely looking for. It's something I'm looking for. When people, I think you guys can agree with this, right? We've seen people come and go that are just in it like, I'm just trying to make a buck, and I could be doing anything. I could be selling widgets, whatever. I'm, a photographer, whatever, who cares? Like, if you have that is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. It's not sustainable from how people are going to view you in the community, but it's not sustainable from your client perspective, and it's probably going to burn you out after time too. So just kind of keep in mind that perspective will definitely help you succeed.
Yes, thank you all, and I think that will conclude our panel. I feel like we walked away with a lot of good nuggets. I appreciate all of you guys sitting up here, taking the time, sharing your wisdom, and I will kick it back over to Ashley to share some insights.
How was that? Is it good? Okay. I feel like you could spend hours and hours and hours and have many, many breakouts on a myriad of topics. So I don't know. We might just have to have a full-blown Wed Society summit one of these days, like a day summit. So there's so much to be learned, whether you're like new to the industry or you're one of the most notable names. There's just always nuggets and technology changes, and so always some stuff to learn. Something new this year for Wed Society is that we produced an insights report, and you're gonna get this report today, and it's exclusive to our membership. You may recall, many of you may have participated in the survey. We sent out a survey earlier this year, and I'll talk about the respondents and things like that. We did this report in conjunction with Wedding Report, if you've ever heard of them, and they mostly survey brides and couples and, through their engagement journey and find out, like, where are they spending their money, how much are they investing, like, what are the demographics, things like that. But we wanted to know a little bit more about the industry specifically. So I hope that this data will help guide and inform some decision making for your business. I know I have a tendency myself to just like trust my gut, and like I think as creatives we tend to do that, and sometimes we lose sight of like, well, what does the data tell us? And so this report, it's 19 pages of truly goodness, so you can spend some time with that a little bit later. I'm just going to quickly hit on a couple of high points, so I hope I don't bore you to death, but we're about to go into a little bit of data. Yeah, Marquise. He's like, bring it on, bring it on. I actually have some slides, but it's back here on this screen, and there's so much natural light coming in that you may or may not be able to see and read some of this. But so, yeah, you can turn your seats, and I'll just hit on a lot of these points. So here are the demographics of our respondents. So we surveyed just our Wed Society membership throughout all of our existing marketplaces, and this is the percentage of people that participated in the survey. So the information I'm going to share, you can kind of see categorically the respondents and who was involved in this. But really, we break this down into 4 key categories. One is venues. So as I share some data and insights, if you're a venue owner, I'll try to speak to that. The other is photo video, is like a broad general category. There's a huge category that we're calling creatives, which is all of the creative types in the room. And then there's non-traditional. And the non-traditional vendors are the ones that kind of dabble outside of the wedding space a lot of times, or do work for weddings and other types of events. So, but these were the nature of our respondents. First, I'll share a little bit about just give you some context in terms of what Wedding Report shared with us about the research tools that engaged couples are using. And yeah, you can't really see this too well, can you? So these are the methodologies that engaged couples are using to find, identify, follow, connect with vendors, really ultimately determine who they want to work with. And I'm so sorry you can't read all of this, but it's in the report and you will get it. These numbers don't add up to 100%, and that's because what we know is that couples are employing lots of different methods to find and connect with vendors. No surprise here if you can read any of this. Google search is the top form of research and trying to learn more about vendors. I know the panel spoke about Google reviews, so I think that plays into this. That is definitely an influential factor at like 75%. Also, that's why it's important to be connected to the content that Wed Society is sharing and that is receiving 3.5 million first page Google impressions and things like that. So Google search is still really, really important and an avenue that couples are using to find and source vendors. Beyond that, as you look through this list, there's referrals up there. There's third-party websites that are super duper important, like Wed Society and the like. What I was surprised to see is that couples are still, looking at publications like the Book of Weddings. 40% of couples are using that to sort of complement their digital and social searching. Social media is up there at the top of the list, but there are tons of different methodologies that couples are employing to like find, search, and connect with vendors. I think I read a stat the other day that said that a couple will interact with your brand about 54 times before they may choose to do business with you. 54 times. But if you think about your own shopping tendencies and how you like make decisions and become familiar with brands and learn to trust them and that sort of thing, you do see them repeatedly across so many different channels. So very important to be at the forefront of the minds of a very target audience and pick the channels that the engaged couples are using to do that. Okay, this is where we get into the industry-specific data. The average respondent to our survey, this is just useful information, I think, booked 67 weddings last year. Crazy, right? And some of you may have booked double that, or some of you, and again, there's different categories. Remember I said venues, photo, video, creatives, non-traditionals. So on average, creatives are the busiest people in the room. 92 weddings. The average respondent that was a creative, on average, booked 92 weddings last year. Venues, 85. Photo, video, 25. And non-traditional, 33. So again, this is just data. Do with it like what you will to sort of guide and shape the direction of your business. I know I talked to a photographer this morning that said that her busiest year, she booked like 60-something weddings and about killed herself, and now she's down to like 15 high-quality, amazing weddings. But on average, the vendor is booking 67 weddings per year. So what about advertising and marketing budget? We asked a lot of questions around this, and the average wedding vendor spends 11.6% of their annual revenue on advertising and marketing. Now, this is compiled. It's not just purely promotion. It's what you're reinvesting in yourself, in your website, in your digital marketing strategies, and new collateral, whatever it is that you're putting out there into the world each and every year to improve your own brand. 11.6% was the average vendor budget for marketing and advertising. Venues spent about $111,000 on advertising and marketing. Creatives, $33,000. Photographer and videographers, $17,000. And non-traditional, $14,000. So how does the advertising and marketing budget correlate to business success? And I thought this was very interesting if you can't read it. It basically says vendors who generate less than $250,000 in revenue spend just about $13,000 on advertising. But vendors who generate over $500,000 in revenue invest 6 times that much in marketing and advertising. Fascinating, right? So vendors who generate less than $250,000 spend about $13,000 on marketing and advertising. And vendors who generate over $500,000 spend about $75,000 or 6 times that much. It's important, and it's, we have to be present on so many different platforms these days, so you want to make sure that you're investing in the platforms that are going to take you the furthest, and your own brand, which we didn't even talk about Wed Society Pro earlier, but I'll mention that at the very end. Then we talked a little bit about pricing. We asked some questions around pricing in the survey, if you remember, and like, how does the wedding industry plan to adjust their pricing over the next 12 months? And by far, the average is increasing by over 7%. Some are increasing their pricing by more than 25%. And I don't know if it goes to like what the photo video team was talking about earlier with like Thursday, Friday, Saturday events and having to adjust their pricing and packages or whatnot, or the experiential elements that are just driving up the cost of things and delivery of those products and services. But over, 25% is a huge increase, and some of the most significant increases we've seen in a long, long time. So all of that data is also in this report. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So 3 out of 4 vendors are raising their prices. That's what was reported to us, which is the highest single year increase in recent memory for us. So this is the report. You can't really see the QR code right there, although I love this when the phones come out so that you can try to scan it. You can download it that way, but guess what? It's on the back of your coaster sitting at your table. I know, clever, right? I know. So now you can take your coaster home with you. There's an investment in marketing and advertising right there that has the QR code on it and the full report that's 19 pages. And I firmly believe, our whole team believes, that the people with the most information typically make the smartest decisions. So I hope that as a benefit of being a member of Wed Society, this insight report is helpful to you in how you run and operate your business moving forward. 2 reminders, and we're done here with any boring data details and all of that good stuff. Headshots. Don't miss out on getting a headshot. We're going to do them right outside here. So professional headshots are available to you. There's favors that you can take with you. The favors are at the front, I think. Some little cake samples, which is going to be so yummy. And then there was one more. Oh, I said that we're expanding the brand into other regions. Wed Society is currently franchising. If you have not heard that news, we're very excited, and we have 11 units. So I wanted to tell you some of the other marketplaces that we're in. Miami, Iowa, Tampa, Delaware, San Antonio, what am I forgetting? Birmingham. So many new markets that are coming into the Wed Society fold. So thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for coming to these events, and enjoy yourself. Thanks.